This is Rajesh here. I've got around 9+ years of experience, and out of that maybe 6+ years in ADF. And it was like from last 3 years is when like I started teaching. I thought like let me share my knowledge with a couple of other people across globe, and as ADF was upcoming technology, and that's when I started taking up ADF sessions. And after that, guys, we gradually grew, and now we have a full-fledged S&M consultants in which we take up training on couple of other SOA technologies like say ADF, SOA, Beppel, Web Center, WebLogic, almost all the leading fusion middleware tech stack, guys. So today's session would be about ADF, and today would be the day one of demo, or like day one of the training session where we'll be learning to know about like ADF, what ADF is all about. At any point of time, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Just interrupt me and we can discuss about the question. Treat this as more of a learning session, guys, rather than a training session. We all will share our knowledge and we all will gain a lot from each other. So guys, the first slide and the first line says what is Oracle ADF. Like say we all have gathered here to learn about ADF. So first of all, we should know what ADF is all about. See guys, ADF stands for Application Development Framework. So when you expand it, the full form of ADF is Application Development Framework. Typically we call it as ADF. It's a commercial Java framework. See guys, ADF is a framework of Java tech stack, and it's a commercial framework. When we say commercial, it's a proprietary framework from Oracle. The typical use case of it, guys, is to build enterprise application. That's what is the basic use case of ADF. It's in declarative Java and J2 framework, guys. So this is again, guys, one of the biggest advantage, that ADF is a declarative Java J2 framework. See, there are various other frameworks available across globe on Java and J2 tech stack, but none of them is as declarative as ADF. And since it's declarative in nature, guys, it enables rapid application development. So the rate at which you are building applications in ADF is really quick. It's not slow, guys. It's very quick. And again, it's web-based. So most of you, since we have been working in Oracle tech stack, you know, like you have been working with forms and reports. So forms and reports is something, guys, which was not a web-based framework. It was a desktop technology. But whereas ADF is web-based, and whenever we say it's web-based, what we essentially mean is that it's a technology whose end user interface is in HTML. And then, guys, it's SOA enabled. SOA again, guys, is a tech stack which is typically to move things to service interfaces like having web APIs and all those stuff. And ADF is SOA enabled, means ADF supports SOA. And again, guys, trust me, ADF is a very easy way to build complex applications. So what be the complexity of application? When you are using ADF, you will be able to very easily and very quickly build the app. That's what it is. So now, guys, at a high level, we know what is ADF. So ADF.
I have one question.
Yes, Sudeep.
Yeah, you told about this thing ADF and in the previous slide with the Java and all those things. The thing is that I never work for Java, and in problem that I'm not a IT background. I am from electrical background. I switched to IT. So what happened in Java? I don't have any idea. Java because I don't have. So how much I need to know Java to do ADF?
See, this is a very nice question. See, you should be knowing the basics of Java, like what is a class, what is a method, what are the various types of data types, the parameters, the variables, and all those stuff. So the basic level of Java is what you need. But again, if you don't know, not to worry about. We can take a basic session for you guys where we can tell you how to identify a class, how to create a class, how to run a basic Java code and all those stuff. So that we do have it for the people who are basically from non-Java background.
Okay, so that is not a problem.
Yep. Right. Sure, Sudeep.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. So guys, so the next logical thing that the question that hits us is like, why is ADF important? Like, why as a developer we should be learning it? See guys, the main reason, the main driving factor for ADF is Oracle ERP Fusion apps. See guys, what has happened is Oracle across, like in last couple of years, maybe say 6 to 7 years, they have acquired almost all the leading ERP companies. Like they acquired PeopleSoft, they acquired Siebel, and they acquired many other companies which were market leaders in ERP in a respective domain. So when Oracle acquired these companies, they acquired with the intent to come up with a single product. The single product, they named it as Fusion. So Fusion is basically the fusion of the functionalities of all those ERPs, and they have released a new ERP. Now again, guys, functionality wise, they have clubbed together all the functionality. Now to code also, every company, every product, ERP product had its own tech stack. So they decided to go with the Oracle tech stack and they have used ADF in it. So when you say Fusion apps, the next release of Oracle apps, the next release of PeopleSoft Enterprise and next release of Siebel, that is called as Fusion and it has been coded in ADF. So that is what guys is the main driving push. Like all the companies which are planning to migrate to R12 or which are migrating from R12 to the next release, they would be needing ADF resources. That is one of the main driving factor. Now again guys, ADF is gaining a foothold in J2E world and this again guys is a huge driving push. So previously guys, ADF or like OAF to be specific was there, but it was not so popular in Java J2E world because it was dependent on R12. But with ADF guys, it's an independent framework where you can build your own small applications. And that's where guys it is leading, it is competing with Hibernate, Struts and other Java frameworks. Now again guys, the organizations which implement ADF based solutions, they save a lot on cost. So again, for companies it's a really huge push for them to move to ADF based solutions because they are saving on cost. When we say saving on cost, the reason is simple, it's declarative. So creation is easy. The number of files that it creates is less because it's again declarative in nature. So the maintenance is easier. The lines of code that you generate is less. So since at all the three places the companies are saving, the lines of code is less, the maintenance is easier, the learning curve is less. So they save cost on all three fronts and it turns out to be a huge saving for them. And again guys, as Oracle is again pushing organizations across globe to move from their desktop based or forms based solutions to ADF. So that is again a push. And again guys, not only the companies are migrating from forms, the other desktop systems like say Power Builder, VB and all those stuff guys, those companies are also trying to push and use ADF. Now again guys, it enables rapid application development. The rate at which you build applications is really quick and you would be realizing it over the period of training guys that yes, it is actually very fast. And again guys, it supports web services and so on. See guys, again when you are going or when you are moving to web-based solution, you would like your application to interact with other web applications. Like you would not want your supplier to connect to your database directly, but you would want to give him a HTTP protocol. So that's where guys ADF supports these web services and so on features. So that's again a nice thing. And again guys, the biggest thing that Oracle has again done in last few months is that they have made ADF Essentials as a open source. So the basic features of ADF, that is the model, the view controller and the business components guys, ADF made it as a open source. So the companies even now don't have to pay licensing fees when they are using ADF based solution. So these are a couple of the things guys which makes ADF really important and powerful. So now guys, again, okay, we know what is ADF. We now understand that why it's important. The next thing guys that we need to know is like what is the history, like the technology which you are learning, how did it evolve over a period of time? Okay, see Gulam, this ADF is a Java based tech stack, so XML definitely is needed because XML is the one which would be typically used to create these applications. Java is the underlying tech stack. HTML again is the final UI part of it. PHP is not at all needed because PHP is totally different from ADF or Java tech stack. BEPL also is not needed because from here what we do is we generate web services or we can consume web services. So that's what is the interaction of ADF with SOA. So BEPL, you would be needing the business process execution language when you're working with SOA, that is service oriented architecture. From ADF, whatever is needed we will be covering in this training program. So you need to know basics of Java. XML again it's very simple, it's just a notepad. HTML again, yeah, the basics of HTML is definitely needed. For that you can always refer to this website, that is w3schools.com. That will guys give you a fair amount of idea of web development. So that's how it works out.
Hi Rajesh. Does it mean that we won't be addressing like JHead start, or I mean I know it's JDeveloper is a tool which uses ADF at the moment for development, but what about other technologies like JHead start? I believe there are some more.
No, we won't be touching all those things.
Okay.
And you don't need to worry about all those things. See, ADF is a complete framework. See, ADF is a framework which gives you the option to pull data from the database and display it to the UI using ADF and the JDeveloper tool. And that can be done declaratively very easily.
But I have seen professionally in most of places. I have been monitoring some projects. They love to use JHead. I don't know why. You should be best person to explain.
No,
When we
maybe
need the
this.
JHead then.
Yeah, JHead is again they are using it, but again like that's specifically for this one of the ERP product, right? JD Edwards or something.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there, but here in ADFC, people initially used it, but like, and that was for ERP. That this JHead is used in JD Edwards or somewhere, right? Or am I wrong on that front?
No, they use it in ADF environment, and it's just a template-based development solution. Like if you're going for rapid development, application development, then it gives you templates. I mean, honestly, all the navigation and flow system is controlled by JHead automatically. So it's on top of ADF. If you make some research, you will come to know it's again by Oracle. It's a tool which is a high-level tool, and ADF is just underlined. You don't need to dive into too much coding if you're using JHead.
Okay, sure. I'll definitely try to find out more about it because yeah, ADF also does exactly the same set of things.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I'm with you that ADF is the main technology. That's why. But JHead gives you more support to deliver more quickly because a lot of codes are already done, like templates already there, navigation is already there. You just need to define your own flow of application.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, then maybe it's a layer on top of ADF, like Web Center and also.
Yeah. So no, anyways, I think this is not related. So yeah, I would take it separately.
Sure. Okay. So guys, coming back to this thing that is about the history of ADF. Now the way it goes back to late 90s. See, in the late 90s, guys, almost all the companies were trying to map the database objects in middle tier. Like there were companies like Microsoft and all which were trying to do it in .NET tech stack, and Oracle was trying to map it in the Java tech stack. And that's when, guys, these JBOs or the Java Business Object, or people call it as JDO, that is Java Data Objects, came into existence. And again, guys, later Oracle renamed it as BC4J, that is Business Components for Java. That's when the basic classes started. The basic classes were written which are used in OA framework and all those stuff. Then, guys, they moved to the current architecture of ADF with JDeveloper 9. So when release 11 was released, at that point of time JDev 9 was released. So there was something called as ADF 9 that had the model, the binding and the current architecture. Then, guys, with the release of R12 and the JDeveloper 10G, there was ADF 10G. It started picking up really fast, guys, when it was actually April 2009 and when JDeveloper 11G was released. And that's when ADF 11G was released. The latest release, guys, that you go and download from the Oracle website is 12.1.2. So this is the latest release. As part of this training program, guys, the tech stack that we are going to use would be 11.1.1.6.0 series, guys. The reason why do we use this is because it is more stable. Like we have been working with it. The release 12 is very new, so we have to still explore more about it, and it supports SOA and Web Center artifacts. Okay. Now, guys, again, this is a slide which differentiates between ADF and OAF. There are many participants. Most of the participants across which we meet in this training program, guys, are from Oracle app background, and they would definitely like to know the differences between OAF and ADF. See, guys, the first and the major difference between OAF and ADF is like ADF is a generic framework. What it essentially means is like you don't need any Oracle instance, or you don't need any Oracle apps or Fusion instance to build ADF applications. If you have to build your own system, you can very easily, guys, go and build on ADF, like a fleet management system or a library management or any other app, guys. It can be built in ADF. But that was not possible in OAF. OAF was very tightly coupled to, guys, R12 instance. OAF was something which was used specifically for release 11 and release 12. So if you had to run a page in OAF, you always needed a responsibility, you needed a page and all those stuff. Now again, guys, ADF, the underlying tech stack for the UI is JSF, that is Java Server Faces. Whereas for OAF, guys, it was something called as UIX, that is User Interface for XMLs. The other major difference, guys, is about the declarative controller. ADF has a declarative controller, guys. So if you have to define navigation between two pages, you can very easily do it using ADF task flows. But whereas in OAF, if you had to define navigation, you needed to write code, guys. You had to extend the Java class and you had to write code. So in ADF, that's not that. ADF is used for Fusion apps, guys. That is again the next ERP product. Whereas OAF was used for release 11 and release 12. In ADF again, guys, this is a minor difference that there is a page editor, so you can see the look and feel of the page while you are designing, whereas in OAF framework it was not possible. And again, guys, the other major difference is the amount of Java code that you write in ADF is minimal, whereas in OAF it was extensive Java code, guys. May had to you write validation or guys navigations, all those stuff was extensive Java coding. So guys, do you have any questions so far? Akin, Gulam, Mahesh and Sudeep?
Yeah, Rajesh, I think, does it have any connection with the OAF and ADF? I think these are totally two different technologies. One deals with Oracle apps.
Yes. See, the connection is the business components is similar. See, OAF also had the business components which were entity objects, view objects and application module. ADF also has the same business components, that is EO, VO and AM, application module, entity object and view object. So those things are same.
So should I take it as in Oracle apps, they normally used Oracle forms, normal forms, which we have been using until now. And gradually they are moving to Java-based technology as well. So they are giving you both interfaces. So that other interfaces being development talks will be done in ADF environment.
See, for release 11 and release 12, it was in OA framework. So whatever those self-service pages you see, right, those are in OA framework.
Okay.
Whereas in ADF, when it comes to Fusion apps, it is in ADF. So in Fusion apps, there is no forms and reports.
Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha.
In Fusion apps, it is purely on the ADF tech stack. There is absolutely no forms and reports used.
Can you give me an example of any Fusion apps?
No, Fusion apps is same thing, right? Like you had a GL, general ledger solution in R12, you have a general ledger solution is in Fusion.
That's coming from, I think, R12, I think.
Yes, all the technologies, R12, PeopleSoft, Siebel and all those stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the major difference.
And it helps you to develop the bespoke applications as well.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. See, the biggest advantage is it's a generic framework. See, if you have to build a small application for a small organization, right, like forms, there are lots and lots of customers of forms in US who have their own, say, maybe shop management or any of the store management system. Those things can be built in ADF, but that was not possible in OAF. That's what is the difference. That's where ADF is a huge hit in market and there's a huge push for ADF in market. Okay. Yeah. So now guys, coming back to Fusion middleware. See guys, right now when you hear in the market, right, there's a lot of buzz around Fusion middleware. So see guys, there are two things in market. See, one is Fusion middleware and other is Fusion apps. See, Fusion apps is the functional, it's the ERP product that Oracle has launched. Whereas Fusion middleware, guys, is the technical tech stack, the set of technical components, the technologies that have gone into building Fusion apps and other tech stack, guys. And what it is. See guys, Fusion middleware is a rebranding, it's a remarketing, it's a marketing exercise that Oracle has taken up to rebrand and sell the products which are not part of Oracle's core database. So now if you visit to Oracle website, the technical products, guys, are divided into two sets. One is the Oracle database and the other is Fusion middleware. So the products in Fusion middleware are not totally new, but yes, they have made lots of improvements as compared to the other version. So what they have done is they have picked up all the products, most of the technical products, and they have classified it as a Fusion middleware. The couple of important things or the couple of important products out of Fusion middleware, one of them is the JDeveloper. So guys, JDeveloper is the tool. It's the development environment and a unified tool suite, guys, for building all the Fusion middleware tech stack. So if you have to build a SOA component, you use JDev. If you have to build database objects, you use JDev. If you have to build ADF based or guys any other tech stack, Beppel, all these things guys would be done in JDev. So what Oracle is trying to push is they are trying to push JDeveloper as a unified tool set that okay, you have to build any Oracle solution, use JDeveloper. Then guys there is the SOA suite. See again guys, SOA stands for service oriented architecture. SOA is not proprietary to Oracle, it's a approach. It's a way you code applications. It's a way you design solutions. Almost all the leading organizations guys have their own SOA solution. Microsoft has their SOA solution, Accenture, IBM, all of them have their own SOA solutions. The Oracle SOA solution called as SOA suite is part of Oracle Fusion middleware. It's typically a complete set of service infrastructure guys for deploying, building and managing service oriented architectures. Like you can consume web services, expose web services, have EDN, Java web services and all those stuff. One of the important constituents of Oracle SOA suite guys is Beppel, that is business process execution language. It's again guys an orchestration language for web services that enables you to design, define and execute business processes. That's what is Beppel guys. It's a language which can bring together technologies. So if you talk in layman's term guys, Beppel is something which can interact, which can integrate with various sources. Like say you have an application or you have a software system in your organization in which some data is in file system, some data is in maybe tape drives, and you are trying to push it to the relational database as well as expose it to the third party or your customers or clients using web services. So what Beppel will have guys is Beppel will have these connectors. They will have a connector to connect to a file, there will be a connector to connect to a tape system and to a database. These connectors guys in Beppel are called as adapters. So they will have a file adapter, they will have a DB database adapter, they will have a JMS adapter and all those ERP adapters. Using those adapters, it will be able to unifiedly pull data and expose it as a web service. Is it clear guys what Beppel is at a high level?
No, I think, does it only address the web services area, or I thought it's just a business process, it defines a business process with an application?
Yes, it does define a business process within an application and it can expose and create web services, it can consume web services. It's an engine basically.
Okay, so it's a web services had been introduced since I think 9i something.
Yeah.
Right, wasn't there before. No, that's fine.
Yeah. And now guys, again, there are other tech stacks which is part of it like the WebLogic server. So WebLogic is the standard application server guys that Oracle is pushing. So now the latest release of forms or everything, ADF, everything guys runs on WebLogic server. So Oracle is trying to push WebLogic as its standard application server. It was acquired by BEA. It was acquired from BEA. Then there is this identity management from solution from Oracle. There is this BI publisher. See this BI publisher was there previously known as XML publisher. So there is this BI publisher, there is data integrator, and there's a lot of tech stack guys. So you can always visit Oracle website and check the components and the technologies that are part of Fusion middleware. So now guys, coming back to ADF. So now we have a high level picture of what is Fusion middleware, how things are, where ADF is placed. So guys, the intent, the purpose of Oracle was to launch, or when they launched ADF, was to give them a technology, to give a tech stack to the developers, where as a developer you don't worry about the infrastructure, you don't worry from which database you are pulling data, what is your data source. At the same time, you don't worry where you are going to publish the data. Either you are going to use it in Mozilla or Chrome, or maybe you are going to give it as a web service to the user. So that's what the ADF is all about guys. It insulates the developers from the underlying tech stack. And again guys, when it is doing it, it's again doing it declaratively. So whatever you are going to create guys, it would be declarative in nature. You'll be having visual development, means you'll be able to visualize. There would be wizards for everything and you'll be able to visualize what you are doing. And again guys, this thing has been made possible because it's metadata driven. When we say metadata driven, what we essentially say is the underlying code which you generate is XML file. Like we don't write Java code, we would be generating XML files, and underlying the J developer and ADF would be kind of generating the corresponding Java code. And again guys, it abstracts the J2E complexity. Like when you build Java J2E based application, there are a lot of design patterns, there is a lot of complex things to be maintained and done, but with ADF you don't need to worry about all those things. The code that it creates is reusable. That's because of Java, guys. Since Java is reusable, ADF is reusable, and the code is maintainable because the lines of code is less. See, for the same thing, if you would have written say 1000 lines in Java, in ADF it can be done in just a XML file, and that too with minimal lines, because the corresponding code which will actually do it is generated by the framework. And again, guys, it implements best J2E design patterns, including the MVC architecture. So guys, I hope everyone is comfortable with MVC architecture, right? Like, do you understand it, what MVC is all about?
Yeah, I'm happy with.
Okay, great. So guys, again, MVC is something, it's again a programming approach, guys. MVC is not a language, it's not bound to a technology. MVC is a approach of coding applications. You can implement MVC in any of the language, guys. It can be implemented in Java, it can be implemented in C, PHP, .NET, any of the tech stack, guys. You can implement MVC. In fact, you can implement it in PL SQL too. So guys, it's the approach. The approach, what it says is there's a model layer in which you write all your business logic, which is always hidden from the end user. What end user always sees is the view layer. So view layer is the one which the end user would be seeing, and there would be a controller, guys, which would be controlling the interactions of a model with view and between two views. So that's what is the controller. Now guys, when it comes to Java and J2E, because we are learning ADF, so we need to know it from the Java and J2E tech stack perspective. So when it comes to Java J2E tech stack perspective, what they say is the model in a J2E application or JEE application may be represented by entity beans. Bean again, guys, is something like a Java class, although the model can be created by a servlet using business object framework. So now guys, what they say is servlet. Servlet is again, guys, nothing but it's a piece of code that runs on server. So any piece of code that runs on server is typically called as a servlet, and they have a framework like business object framework like ADF. So in ADF also, guys, we have EOs, entity objects, VOs, and application modules. Then guys comes the view layer. The view layer is the one, guys, which the end user would be interacting with. That would be the final page in which the user would be interacting. He would be inputting data, he would be expecting the output. When it comes to Java J2E tech stack, again, guys, it is represented by a JSP, that is Java server page, which may be currently implemented using the JSF tech stack. Same is the case with ADF, guys. The underlying tech stack is JSF. And then comes the controller. Again, guys, the controller in a J2E double application may be again represented by a servlet, the piece of code which runs on server, and it may be currently implemented using the JSF tech stack. And that's what is exactly done in ADF too. So now, guys, this is a diagram which talks about the MVC and the complete fusion middleware. It's the name says ADF, but it is not restricted to ADF. Now again, guys, in today's real-time development scenarios, our data is no longer restricted to a relational database. The data could be from a XML format, it could be from some legacy systems. At the same time, guys, it could be from some third-party application like say Facebook, Twitter, or any of your client. So you should have the ability and the capability to access data from all these data services. And that's what is, guys, exactly given by the business services or the fusion middleware. So the things that are part of it is like Java, EJB, Enterprise Java Beans, BAM, Business Activity Monitor, BEPL, Business Process Execution Language, Web Services, ADF Business Components, BI, that is Business Intelligence, XML, Portlet, Toplink, JCR, JMX, and all those stuff. Now, guys, from these things, they can extract, they can push the data, they can kind of abstract the data in form of ADF model. So ADF model is the layer which would be interacting with this. And again, guys, this model is what is going to push it to the controller and to the faces. So ADF faces is the one, guys, which would be kind of going and would be visible to the end user. This can again, guys, be rendered in multiple browsers, like say different browsers and different devices too. So if you are viewing in mobile, you can see it. If you are viewing in a big screen, it can be seen. The controller is the one, guys, which would be interacting, which would be kind of making sure that the interactions are proper. And again, guys, for ADF faces, the underlying tech stack is JSF JSP, and it's also a competing tech stack. Same way for controller, the competing tech stack, guys, is structs. At the same time, guys, ADF model can interact directly with the desktop. So this is where, guys, ADF DI or ADF desktop integration comes into picture, wherein like if you want to interact your Excel directly with the data, with the ADF model and all, it can be done. As part of this training program, guys, what we would be learning would be ADF faces, ADF controller, ADF model, ADF business components with help of a relational database. This is what, guys, we would be learning as part of this training program. Is it clear, guys, so far? Mahesh, Sudeep, Gulam and Akin?
Yeah, that's okay for me. There's one simple question.
Yep.
It seems front end appears like a JSP, JSF, and ADF. That's the final product which end user will see actually.
Yes.
And what would be the preferable normally the technology we'll be using? I mean, in the practice, practically, what
do
you use to deliver the output?
We would be using ADF faces.
ADF faces, okay.
Yeah, we will not be worried about JSP and JSF because they are the underlying tech stack.
Right.
So as a developer, we would be using ADF faces to build, and the end user would also be seeing the ADF faces, the ADF components.
Yeah, that addresses my question. Thank you.
Yep, sure. Great. So now, guys, coming back to the components that we are going to learn. See, guys, we are going to learn about ADF business components. These business components are the one, guys, which would be typically part of business services. These are the ones, guys, which are typically used to manage the database access, like how you're going to access data, retrieve data, read data, update data. At the same time, guys, the business logic, the UI, the logic development, like if you are inserting data, it has to follow certain business rules. That's what would be written in the business components. Then, guys, they are abstracted with help of the model and binding layer. So this model and the binding layer is which is part of M of MVC architecture. And it's a declarative way to bind your UI to business services. Then, guys, there are these rich client components. See, guys, ADF faces is the V. So this is M. This part is M, this is V. The V of MVC architecture, guys, is ADF faces. We again call them rich. The rich again is an internet term, guys, which represents the look and feel of these business components would be really nice. And again, these have inbuilt AJAX support. AJAX again, guys, is a tech stack with help of which you can interact with the backend dynamically and at the runtime. And again, guys, there is this task flows. So task flow again, guys, is nothing but it's the C. The controller of a MVC architecture when it comes to ADF is called as a task flow. It's again a declarative definition of reusable web pages and the task flows. That's what is the task flow. So, guys, going forward, whenever I say task flow, what we essentially mean is that it's the controller of your MVC architecture. Business components, guys, is a layer beneath beneath the model. So what all it does. See, guys, this is the way, this is the place, guys, where you are going to interact with the database, like writing data, reading, updating, deleting, everything would be done through business components. And at the same time, guys, you'll be writing your business logic, the validations, everything would be written in this layer. It's again, guys, a fourth generation language. When we say fourth generation language, what we essentially mean is it's wizard based. Like you don't have to kind of type in code, you'll be using a wizard and it will ultimately generate a end product. It's visual, you will be able to see what all are the effects and the options you are selecting, and it's implemented in metadata because the end product of the wizard would be XML file. The advantage that you get again, guys, with ADF is declarative business rules. See, guys, business rules have to be written because there would be no system, guys, across globe or no application across globe in which you directly insert data into the table. Definitely it has to be validated before it is being inserted. In ADF, guys, you can do it declaratively. And again, guys, see, from slide 1 we have been telling ADF is SOA enabled. When we say SOA enabled, what we essentially mean, guys, is that in ADF the business components are SOA enabled. Means you can expose your application modules as a web service which can be consumed by other SOA based systems. You can raise SOA events, like there is something called as EDN and SOA events, so you can raise those SOA events. And you can consume web services, guys, in business components declaratively. That is what it says. And again, guys, it's always based on Java and XML tech stack. That is what it says. Now, guys, coming to the model.
Rajesh, can you
yes?
Sorry, Rajesh, can you go back to the previous page?
Yeah.
Can you give a real-time example of SOA-enabled activities? I mean, any scenario. It's not getting clear to me.
Okay. See, when you work in Oracle apps, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So see, there would be API to create, like say maybe a contract.
Okay.
API, when I say PL SQL API, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're using ADF business components, you can expose the same thing as a web service. So instead of you giving a database API, what you will give is you will create an application module and you will expose it as a web service. So in Fusion apps, there would be a web service to create a contract, and that would have been done with the help of ADF.
All right. So that will be accepting parameters from any
Yes,
other website or network.
yes,
Okay.
exactly, over HTTP protocol.
Right. So that's all about SOA enabled, or is there some more features when
No,
you call it
see,
SOA enabled?
See, when we say SOA enable, it is one of the ways. It is the way like you can expose your business logic also. See, right, like you have written a method. So you can expose that
Right.
method to also as a web service. So the,
So it's just like if you're going to map a database table to
yes,
any business. Yeah. Okay. It's just like database-based table blocks and non-database table blocks in Oracle Forms.
yeah,
So actually you're going to expose them to outer world. They can access data from.
yes. That's the major contributing factor. And then you can raise SOA events like, see, when you are creating a record in the database table and you say that, okay, in a department, if the salary goes less than the average salary, raise a event. The management should be told about it. So you can raise those SOA events from entity objects, from business components.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, great. So now guys, coming to the model and the binding layer. See guys, business services was a layer beneath this. Model and the binding layer is the one guys which actually interacts. This is the layer guys which is going to abstract, your business services and give you a mechanism, is going to give you a approach through which you can build the user interface. That is what it says guys. ADF model and the binding layer provides a consistent mechanism for client and web application controllers to access data and actions defined by diverse data provider technologies. So what it says guys essentially is, once you have the model and the binding layer, the underlying tech stack can change, but as long as the signature, as long as the data control is same, you need not worry about anything. That's what it says. Your UI remains unaffected. It's built on JSR, that is Java Specification Requirement 227 standard. And the two things that is implementing is data control. Data control is what is the abstraction. Like whatever you have written in the business components, it would be always abstracted and represented through data control to the user interface. Now from this data control, it would be declaratively attached and connected to the user interface. That's what is the declarative binding. This is what it says. And again guys, it provides a drag and drop feature. So the biggest advantage again guys with ADF is that you are having end-to-end declarative and drag and drop features. Okay. Now guys, we have seen about business services, we have seen the model of it, MVC architecture. Now this is the view of MVC architecture. It's again guys ADF faces. We typically call it as faces or ADF faces because it's based on JSF tech stack. All these are rich components. See guys, when we say rich, what we essentially mean is the look and feel of the components in the web browser would be really nice. All these components are AJAX enabled, means you can push the data back individually for each of the components. It's again guys around 120 plus components currently in the release, but for the exact release and the exact component guys, you'll have to always refer to the user guides that are published along with the JDeveloper release. Every component has a BALF plus support. BALF stands for browser look and feel. Like you can customize the look and feel of each and every component individually in the browser. That is what it says. Then there are these page templates guys. Page template again is a very important aspect guys when you are building enterprise applications. The reason being, when there are say thousands of pages, you would definitely want the pages to look consistent, so that the end user doesn't have to struggle and search for the information. One of the ways is using page templates, and that's what ADF supports. Drag and drop is guys the standard feature that's there with almost all the ADF components. Then guys, you have these data visualization tools. So guys, this data visualization tools gives you a significant capability through which you can create graph, geographic maps, forward, Gantt chart and all those stuff. It's again guys declarative and it's very easy to create guys. And again, all the components are declarative in nature. So all you are going to do is you are going to do a drag and drop. If you have to create a drop down, if you have to create a LOV, list of value, all you do is you define a list of value, drag and drop into the user interface, and the LOV is created. Same way is case with the graph, guys. If you have to represent the data like the sales per year, so in other technologies, if you have to show it as a graph, you'll have to struggle a lot. But with ADF, it's declarative and quick. Hi Shri, I think you are towards the end of the session, but I hope you can hear us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So now guys, the next thing is the task flows. See guys, we have talked about the M. The model is the part which is abstracting business components. We have seen the V, that is view, that is ADF faces. Now guys, the C of MVC architecture, or the controller of MVC architecture, guys, in ADF is called as ADF task flows. It's called as task flow. So whenever we say task flow, you should think, okay, it's the controller of the application. Again guys, the biggest advantage, guys, it's declarative. So if you have to define navigation between two pages, you can do it declaratively with the help of task flows. And yes, the underlying tech stack is ADF, the JSF. So ADF task flows is also extending the JSF navigational model. They are reusable. This reusability, again guys, is one of the features which we really love, because if you have to create a piece of functionality, like you have to create a functionality to update the employee salary. In previous days, you would have created a HR dashboard and then the same set of pages, a manager dashboard and the same set of pages. But with ADF, what they say is you create a task flow which is there specifically to update the employee salary, and you plug it in the HR dashboard as well as you plug it in the manager dashboard, and it's done. So that's how it is reusable. Now again guys, whenever you create web application, you have to take decisions. See, when you log in into your Gmail account, the Gmail takes a decision whether you have entered wrong username or password. If you have entered wrong, they will tell you no, you have not entered correct, and they will show you an error page. If you enter correctly, they will show you a success page and you will be able to access your email. Same way guys, in ADF, if you have to decide, if you have to route, you can do it declaratively. Again, nice feature. And again guys, we have been talking it's declarative, but it doesn't restrict you from writing Java code. So if you want to write Java code, if you have some specific business use case for your application, you can always write Java logic using Java methods. And again guys, as a standard controller, it does have the ability to manage database transactions. So guys, this is what we had for the day. The last slide talks about the course content that we are going to cover in this training program. After our experience, we have divided this course into two categories, guys. One of them is the business components and the other part is the UI. So first we typically focus on the business components, where we talk about like the ADF, the JDeveloper. Like this is today's session. Then we'll see how do you launch JDev, how do you work with it. Then guys, it would be about the database schema design, like how do you design database tables and all those stuff. Then it would be about data modeling, like we'd be at a high level seeing what all are the business components, how they work. Then once we have seen at the high level, we would be spending one day each on these technologies, like what is EO, entity object and association, view object and view links, and application model. Once we are done with the declarative approach, guys, we would like to drill down by using the programming approach, like how can you do the same thing programmatically. Once we are done with this, guys, we'll be talking about business validations, like whatever you are inserting has to be validated. Like if you are entering a user, that user should exist in HR table, all those stuff. Then guys, once we are done with the business components, we'll move to the UI part, that is the user interface. So again, that would be a basic session which will be talking about the UI tech stack for the people who are like from non-HTML background. Then guys, it will be about the data minings, like how you are going to abstract whatever we have done here, how it is to be used in the UI. Then we will be talking about the controller, the task flow. Then how do you create various contents, that would be done in the page content, like how do you create a graph, how do you create a drop down, how do you create a pie chart. Once we have seen this thing, once we have seen the various components, it's again very important to put them in the right position on the screen. That's what we'll be seeing in the layout basics, guys, where we'll check it out. Like, okay, if you have to place your logo always on the top right corner, how do you do it? You need a menu item on the right side of the page. How do you do it? All those things. Then again, guys, we'll be talking about the reusability aspects of ADF. Like how you can reuse code instead of recoding everything again. How would you reuse the business components? How will you create a page template which justifies and which meets your business requirement? All those.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, Rajesh.
Yeah, Gulam.
I think he disconnected.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, it seems your voice was dropped.
Okay, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, sometime it happens. Okay. So guys, once we are done with the reusability, we'll be talking about the navigational part, like how do you navigate between pages. Then again guys, a very important aspect of web development is to know the life cycle of a page and how do you handle events. Like when you click on a button, if you have to write your custom code, when you click on a sort listener, or when you go through the various life cycle, how do you manage it? That's what would be done in handling application event. Then guys, we'll see how do you manage and validate data in the user interface, like how do you pass parameter between pages, how do you pass parameter between task flows. If you have to write any business validation, any validation in the user interface, how do you write it? And then again guys, it would be about the transaction management support that is available in the task flows or the controller. And that's when guys, parallelly as part of this, we'll be also building a application. Once we have built the application, again guys, many a time the application doesn't work as expected. So in that case guys, the troubleshooting is very important. So we will see almost all the aspects of ADF troubleshooting, how you can troubleshoot ADF task flow, how you can troubleshoot the page, how you can troubleshoot the life cycle. And once those things are done guys, we'll be talking about the deployment. Like, because ultimately as a developer you will be creating the code in JDev, but it is not going to run on JDev. It has to be sent to a application server. So we would be deploying it on WebLogic server and we'll see how it is done. So this is what guys we will be covering, and this is what we had for the day. So I'll just stop here and we'll open up for Q&A now. So guys, do you have any questions? Like Akin, Sri, Sudeep, Mahesh?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes,
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Rajesh.
Yeah, hi Rajesh. So this is going to be the first session, right? So this is our second demo. Is it? I would like to know. I would like to see the second demo also, and then continue. And what are the coach terms? I mean, 45 days or 30 days?
See, it's typically around 30 hours of training program. We would be spending like 30 hours. So, and it's typically a weekend batch which we are planning. So it would be spread over almost say 6 weeks, and maybe 6 weekends, and 1 weekend you can keep as a buffer because it may extend like based on the Q&A and like the speed at which we are going. So it would be roughly around 30 hours of training program. That's what we would be covering, I would be covering, and then you would be practicing. So that time is additional which you would be spending at your end.
Okay.
And the second demo would be tomorrow, same time, 9:30 p.m. India time.
Okay, and this batch is only the weekend batch, right?
Yes, this is specifically we are planning for weekend, but yeah, if the participants want it on an everyday basis, we can move it. That we are flexible. That depends on the final confirmed participants.
Okay. 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 Sure.
One more thing, Rajesh. Okay.
Yes, Sudeep.
Yeah, that wave only one demonstration was there, or another demonstration will be there on wave?
See, we always typically have 2 demo sessions, day 1 and day 2. So for OF also it will always be day 1 and day 2.
So I want the day 2 also. The day 1 I just missed because I have some work. I came from office later, that's what.
No, yeah.
So I want to attend that.
Sure, so we'll send you across the details of day 1 and day 2 once again whenever we are scheduling next week sometime.
So when it will be on next week?
Yeah, sometime next week. We'll have to check the schedule exactly. I'll update you. I'll have to check this schedule and update you.
Okay, just let me know because this ADF course actually, generally speaking, ADF I have checked this one and I just checked more that how much I can capture in that online session like that, because I never attend online session like this. So what I felt that yeah, it is good actually. Communication is very good. The main thing is that I want to check for the wave course as I told, and I want to attend that one. So if there's any demonstration, please let me know. So I can expect next week it can be happen, right? First 2 demonstration of the wave. So I can continue that one also.
Yep. Sure, Sudeep. With S&M consultants, you would always get the same quality. That's what has been our forte, and we are always trying to maintain that quality and the level of the.
Okay, the overall the session was good. Means interaction was good. The main concern for me, look, learning and all those things that I have to put some effort. You will also do that will be done. But the main was that the communication, how will understanding of that one. So I feel that is good actually. This understanding is good, and you don't have to travel, and this is. I
Yeah,
appreciate
online
that
learning
one. So
has
I
its
just
own
want to
advantage. Yeah.
advantage because I don't have to spend for traveling and all those things, and I can go in my own time. It's like if I want to do morning or if I want to do night, I can come and sit in front of the laptop. But
Yep.
other things can't be done like the institute. So it's a good session, and thank you for this one. So please
Yep.
let me know this OF demo session. I'll attend that this one
Sure,
surely.
Sudeep. Sure, Sudeep. We'll keep you posted with it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your session. This is a nice one. Thanks.
Rajesh, I have a question about
Yes.
what do we need? I mean, any hardware, software installation requirement
Yep.
before we can join the
Yep.
real course?
See, Gulam, for conducting the training, this is the software like the GoToMeeting which you'll be using every day. On the practice part, you would be required to install JDeveloper, and you would be needing a relational database support, like any of the database which you're comfortable with, maybe Oracle or like say MySQL, SQL Server, any of them is fine, but we would prefer if you can use Oracle database. So you can download Oracle Express Edition from Oracle website and install it on your machine. So, and JDeveloper, those are the two softwares you need.
So that comes by default with Express Edition. It will install automatically, you mean?
No, JDeveloper and Express Edition are two separate softwares which you'll have to install.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Like Oracle Forms, you need to install separately.
Yes, yes. And the RAM requirement would be, it would be very nice if you have more than 4, but minimum is 4 GB guys. So you need 4 GB RAM on your machines. And still again guys, if you don't have these options available, like if your laptop is not having 4 GB, we do have a remote desktop support where you can always log in and practice. So that option is always there with us.
Yeah, that's good. So what do you mean by another session? Are you going to carry on with the next
Yes, we
new
would
things, or you'll be repeating the same session?
No, we would be doing this exploring JDeveloper. Like how do you launch JDeveloper? How do you build, not the build basic page, but how do you create a ADF application? How do you set preferences in JDeveloper which will help you out to kind of work with ADF? So that's what
Okay.
we do.
Is it by default, or do we need to request another session?
No, it is by default. It would be tomorrow evening same time. That is 9:30 PM India time, and UK it would be most probably 5 PM.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Mahesh and Sri? Yes, Sudeep.
No, it's okay. Just thank you for your share, and
Okay,
I'll keep in touch with you for this OF. Just let me know that OF thing. Okay.
Sure, Sudeep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, Mahesh.
Hi Rajesh, I have one question actually.
Yes.
What will be better for Oracle technical person, the OAF or learning ADF?
See, Mahesh, it depends on your goal actually. See, if you are planning to work currently in Oracle apps, then OA framework is the one which is used in Oracle apps release 11 and release 12. But at the same time, many companies are doing their custom development in ADF, like the new development is being done in ADF. So that way ADF is also helpful. So it depends exactly on your requirement and where your company is working on.
Okay, if we are moving into ADF things, we will be slowly moving away from Oracle and directly, right?
No, see, we will not be moving. This course is for standalone ADF development because we don't have access to any Fusion application where we can customize, we can extend the Fusion apps. So this would be a standalone application development course where we would be building our own custom application, with help of which you will be having a kind of a order page where you will be creating an order, updating the payment and all those stuff. So this is not related to Oracle applications, neither release 12, release 11 or Fusion apps. Yeah. Yes, Gulam.
So normally it will be 6 to 7 hours a week.
See,
like,
if you are going for a weekday session, it would be 1 hour, so 5 hours a week. If you are going for a weekend session, it would be 2-hour sessions for 2 days, so it would be 4 hours.
4 hours. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. No, that makes sense to me. Yeah, it was quite interactive, and I was really impressed because I was thinking about the performance of network. But seems things are quite positive.
Yeah.
I would love to attend another session, and then we'll take it from there.
Yep, sure, Gulam, that would be great.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Rajesh, I want to leave now.
Sure.
And hopefully see you tomorrow by same time, yeah?
Yep, same time, Gulam. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much again.
Thanks. Yeah. How about you, Sri, Mahesh, and Akin? Do you have any other questions, guys?
No question.
I'm good, Rajesh. So I'll be talking with your concerned person regarding the timings and the remote logging, everything.
Yep.
So yeah,
Sure, Sri.
yeah, I'm good. Apart from that, yeah.
Sure, guys. So, guys, thanks all for attending. If you have no other questions, maybe we'll close the call. So, thanks again, Mahesh, Gulam, and Sudeep for attending the session. Thanks all, guys. We'll meet tomorrow again at same time. That is 9:30 p.m. India time. Thank you, guys.
Okay.